Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. Today we are going to be doing a video all about face. As you guys probably know, I watch a lot of YouTube, just as you all probably do. And recently I've been watching a lot of videos about the application process when it comes to face makeup. So in today's video, I kind of want to explore what I have learned and kind of recreate what has resonated with me in those videos, just to kind of see if the way I normally apply my face makeup, I want to see if the new ways that I've seen in other videos might look better, might perform better. I just want to experiment. You know, when it comes down to it, I just want to experiment and see if there are any new processes that might work better for my skin and me and might help me look a little bit more airbrushed or natural, or I don't even know. I just wanted to sit down and experiment. I'm going to do half of my face the way that I normally do my makeup, and then I'm going to do the other half in like a way that a multitude of other YouTubers have done their makeup, kind of like a blend of what has, like I said, resonated with me. So that is what we are going to do today. If that is something you're interested in seeing, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so hair is pinned back. I actually have to use 2 clips because I have such long hair and like a lot of it. I don't know how long it's gonna last because, like I said, I have a lot of hair and I feel like this isn't really stable, so we're gonna see how long it lasts. I have a hair tie just in case. But hair is pinned back. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I actually am not going to use primer for this video. I watch the video like once every 3 months just because I love watching it. The Scott Barnes and the Tati video where he does her makeup, and in that video I was watching the other day, he didn't use primer, so I'm not gonna use primer. Scott Barnes doesn't have to use it. I feel like I don't have to use it either. I'm gonna start with, I don't know which side I want to do my regular on. I think I'm going to do this side, my normal routine. So we're going to do that first. The foundation that I'm going to be using is the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I haven't used this in a minute, and this is kind of what I feel like using today. I feel like this is just a good foundation to do a lot with. A lot of foundations are like thick, and you kind of don't want to use that as your base because when you layer a lot of products on it, your face will start to feel weighed down. This is nice and thin. It does cover a lot, but it is nice and thin, and it feels like skin, so I feel like it's a good layering foundation. So that's what we're going to use today. On this side of the face, like I said, I'm going to do how I normally do it, and that's what we're going to start out with right now. The brush I'm going to be using is this Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. I use this all the time. This is a great foundation brush from the drugstore. It's like pretty inexpensive. I'm just going to apply this right to my skin like that and kind of blend it out. I'm hoping that this isn't too dark because I have like, it's actually not fake tan, it's the Sally Hansen like airbrush legs because my tan has been not coming off like properly, so I just was like, let me, for the sake of this video, put some like body makeup on. So I'm just doing a very thin layer of this. My skin has been going through it recently. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I had a really bad reaction to the sun the other day and my skin's just been like going through it. Really going through it. It's been so painful, and I wear so much sunblock and I try to stay out of the sun, but I feel like no matter what I do, the sun always finds me, which sucks. If you're new to my channel, hello, I have an allergy to the sun. Apparently, so I can't really be out in the sun. So this is the layer that I'm going to work with for right now. I believe I don't really want to do like anything more. This is a really good foundation. I have oily skin, and even though this says like luminous in the name, it's still a really good foundation for oily skin. I think it's a good foundation for all skin types, to be honest with you. It's just very comfortable is the word that comes to mind when I think of this foundation. It's very comfortable to wear. All right, so that is the side done. What I normally do next for my regular face routine is all of my creams. So I'm going to go in first with a cream contour. This is the Huda Beauty Tantour. This is a really great cream contour. It's very blendable. It's very pigmented, but it's blendable. It's not going to be super hard to work with. That's what it looks like. This is in the shade Fair. I think this is the lightest shade that they have, I want to say. And I'm going to take my Luxie 512 small contouring brush, and I'm going to use this to carve out, like, you see where the natural hollows of my cheek is? I'm gonna apply it right above where that natural shadow is to kind of enhance it. I'm gonna take it on the brush, pat the excess off, and then right above the shadow, I'm gonna pat it on. I like to start with cream contour just because if I feel like I made a mistake or anything at all, I still have my concealer. You know, I can still apply some concealer and kind of like clean it up a little bit. So that's why I prefer to do contour before concealer. I just feel a little bit safer when I do it that way. And I'm gonna also hit my forehead up here just to give a little something something. And then I'm also gonna hit my jawline. All right, and I'm happy with the way that that looks right now, so I am going to move on to concealer. The concealer that I'm going to be using is no surprise. I use it all the time if you watch any of my other videos. It is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. This is in the shade 215, and I like to use this very sparingly, just right, you know, here. Okay, that's not sparingly, but I promise I normally use it sparingly. Down here and right here. I'll go ahead and blend this out. Don't look at my nails, they're so bad. And I like to use my finger with this because I feel like it gives me the nicest finish. Like it really blends right into the foundation when I use my finger. I have so much texture right here from like the rash that's just starting to go away, but we're gonna be okay. The next product I'm gonna use is this One Size translucent setting powder. I am gonna start to step away from the creams now and go more towards the powders because I believe I am done with all of the cream products that I have and that I want to use. So we're going to move to powders, and I'm going to set my concealer before I do anything. And I'm going to use this e.l.f. small tapered brush right here, which is a nice like pointed fluffy brush. Just going to pour some in the cap. Take my brush and set right here. I like to bring it down and out because I feel like it really helps with like my texture and my pores. It's a really great powder. I'm really trying to keep it to like half of my face. It's hard. The next powder that I'm going to take is a bronzer. I'm going to be using this Rimmel natural bronzer in the shade Sun Bronze. This is a really fantastic drugstore bronzer. Really reminds me of the Fenty Sunstalker bronzer, specifically the shade Shady Biz. This is like a really good dupe for it. And I'm going to take this little brush that I hate but love. This is the Morphe M530. I'm just gonna apply some bronzer on the brush and then going above where I put the Huda Tantour, I'm gonna blend it out. My skin is really just going through it. And then once I am done with that, I'm gonna take this little banana powder by Essence, this Brighten Up banana powder. I'm going to take it on the same e.l.f. brush that I took that One Size powder, and I'm going to just clean up under here a little bit. I always get a little bit messy when it comes to a bronzer, so I like to do that just to clean up the contour that I had there. The final powder that I'm going to take, and I think the final product for my face that I'm going to take, is this e.l.f. primer infused blush in the shade Always Rosy. And I'm going to take this on a little angled brush and I'm going to focus it. I don't want to use too much because it's very easy to go overboard with this blush. Right here. So here on my left side, we have the final finished product for how I normally do my face makeup with the exact steps that I normally do it in. This is the way that it looks. And now on this side, we're gonna go ahead, like you see even here, like I don't have acne here, but like this is just like remnants of a rash and it hurts so bad. But now on this side, we're gonna go ahead and do a different sort of application just to see if it's gonna make a difference, if it's gonna look better, if it's gonna look worse. I just wanna play around and experiment. So we're gonna use this side to do that. For this side, I'm gonna use a lot of different products. Not even different products, I'm gonna try to incorporate some different tools, like some different brushes that I don't normally use, just because I really want to experiment, like I said. So I'm gonna start with concealer first. This again is the Lancome concealer, same concealer in the shade 215, and I'm gonna use quite a bit. I'm gonna use it and go like this. And I know I look a little bit silly right now, but I'm gonna take this Amazon brush. This is a like tapered, pretty dense, fluffy brush. And I'm gonna take this instead of a sponge because I wanna keep the pigment, but I'm gonna take this and kind of just like press this into the skin. Now that that is placed down, we're gonna move on to cream contour. I'm gonna use the same cream contour that I used before, the Huda Beauty Tantour, and I'm gonna use a different brush. This is the e.l.f. contouring brush. It's a flat. I like cleaned it, but it still looks quite dirty, but I promise it's clean. But I'm gonna take it on this like straight brush, really coat it, and I'm gonna start here. It looks so silly. This is all going on underneath the foundation, so I'm not gonna worry too much about like messiness and stuff like that because I still have to put foundation on top. Really just buffing it up. I look so funny. Never underestimate the power of your hands. Like the most inexpensive, greatest tool that you could ever have are your fingers. I'm gonna take my small contouring brush and I'm gonna just blend out up here and then just blend this up. I'm gonna take it here as well, just to give myself a pretty defined jawline. Gonna take some on a little brush, and I'm gonna hit my lips. And then I'm gonna take my foundation, pump some on this tray right here. I'm gonna take a sponge this time. I think that's what we're gonna use right now. And I'm gonna start on my forehead, and I'm just gonna marry it to the contour. Very thin layer, like truly the smallest amount, just so that everything is really married and has the same layer and everything. I mean, that contour looks pretty good. I'm impressed. I really didn't know if I was gonna be able to pull it off, but somehow this looks really good and it doesn't look like it did before. What I'm gonna do now is something that may not be smart, but you know, like I said, we're experimenting. So I'm gonna take some of this concealer and just here, I'm gonna take a sponge and use it to blend like down and out, just to give a bit more like contrast. I'm happy with the way that that looks. That looks really good. I'm actually gonna layer some more concealer on top, but I am gonna take an even lighter concealer. This is the Rare Beauty, whatever the long name is, concealer. It's in the shade 170W, and I'm gonna use that just right up in the inner corner. I'm gonna use like the other side that's clean of this brush and just pat it. Really help to add some light. Look at that, that looks amazing. Actually, I'm gonna go in with my fingers in the inner like corner of my eye right here. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with myself, which I never thought I would say. I'm gonna take the same one size powder that I used before on this side as well. On the same brush, I'm just gonna pack it on and then. Now I didn't really do like any nose contouring just because I don't really like, I'm not a pro at that. I'm not really good at it. So I didn't really do any nose contour with my creams or anything. I mean, you guys can just see the difference between the two, right? This one looks so much more airbrushed and smooth. It looks so much better, which I never thought that I would say. All right, I'm gonna take this Kevin Aqua. This is called the Sculpting Powder in Medium. This is just a little contouring powder, and I'm gonna take that on this little Real Techniques contour brush right here. Just a small amount, just because we're gonna do some layering here, and I'm gonna take this right where I put the cream contour, because it's underneath the foundation, and I'm going to use the powder to kind of bring it out more on top of the foundation. Again, just putting this wherever I put the Huda Beauty Tantour, just to like reinstate it. All right, looking good so far, looking really good so far. I'm gonna take the same bronzer again, very minimally. I feel like the whole point of this side of the face is really just to be intentional with where you place your product, how much product you use, you know, just being really mindful and not overusing. I really only used the smallest amount of foundation, and that I think kind of helps to make everything look more natural, you know, because it doesn't look like everything is caked up on top of a thick layer of foundation like this side. So I'm going to go in with some bronzer, same brush again that I used before, very small amount, and I'm going above where I put that contour. Getting the temples, down the cheeks. We're using this to marry the contour and like the rest of the skin, you know, it's like a median in between where you put that contour shade and where the brightness starts for your concealer. And then for powder blush, we're gonna use the same one, the e.l.f. powder blush with the same brush. And just like this, we're gonna add some color to the face, bring a nice flush back to the skin. I'm even gonna bring it up like the temple, and I'm patting very lightly. I like this brush because it's like pretty flimsy, which is a good thing when it comes to blush, because if it's too dense, you can see where you actually stamp the product in. Bringing it a bit further in than I normally do, just because like I said, we're experimenting. Makeup is all about experimentation. Just switching up the way you do things, trying out new things. That's what it's all about, right? I'm gonna finish off with this brightening powder again by Essence. Even though I don't really need it, I kind of just want to. I feel like this really helps with the way that everything looks. So we're just gonna apply a little bit under here. And there we have it. All right, you guys, this is the final look. I am pretty blown away with how this looks, with how it came out. This side looks so incredible. I really thought that it was gonna look terrible. But even like, you know, even my lips look better, you know, everything just looks really better and like fresher and a little bit more natural on this side versus the way that I normally do my makeup. I'm really impressed. I hope this inspires all of you guys to go out and try new ways and new application methods when it comes to face makeup. Makeup is all about experimentation. It's all about trying out new things, seeing how new things work for you, how they work for your skin, changing the way your face looks. It's all about having fun with it. So this was such a fun video to film. This side looks so good. I can't stop looking at it. This is gonna be, I feel like this is gonna be the new way that I do my makeup now. It is like a bit more tedious, I will say, than this side, but for me, the way it comes out is 10 times better than this side. I think that is it for today's video, you guys. I hope that you all enjoyed. I hope that I inspired you to revamp your face makeup routine. If you have not already, make sure that you are subscribed and that you hit the little bell so you are always notified when I upload a new video. And I believe that is it. So I will see you all in my next one.